Hey guys, Platinum here. After such a long wait, Darktide is finally out. Time to test out all the weapon traits and finally get the Psyker Damnation build out. Well, looks like that'll have to wait. While we wait for Fat Shark to finish their damn game, I come bearing more wisdom from the Emperor to impart upon you. This guide, once again, much like this unfortunate beast of Nurgle, will be split into two parts. First one being a more general movement guide, and the next one, a more advanced guide concerning specific movement techniques. I think there are a few things here everyone can learn from, even if you are a veteran of the Tide pod genre and have already cleared Damnation. So, to start, the goal of any Tide game is to get to the end without dying. That's the win condition. If you don't die, you win. Simple. To that end, you can dodge, block, stagger, and kill enemies before they can kill you. Out of all of these, dodging is the only one that is not mutually exclusive to the others, meaning you can and should be doing it all the time. It's a very powerful tool that reduces your hitbox, puts distance between you and your enemies, evades bullets, and lets you do 6 slides, all while costing absolutely 0 stamina. Yes, even dodging bullets, so don't forget to dodge in firefights. More importantly, unlike sprinting, blocking, or pushing, dodging doesn't consume any stamina. But do keep in mind, stamina doesn't regenerate during dodges. So obviously, the better the dodge, the better the chances of not taking damage, the better your chances at winning. Having said that, not all dodges are created equal. And this is where weapon type comes in. Each weapon type has their own unique range, dictating diminishing returns, distance, and speed of the dodge. Diminishing returns basically means how many times you can dodge in a row until your dodge starts reducing in size, as well as the speed and the amount of said reduction. Distance is how far you can dodge, dodge limit is how many times you can dodge before diminishing returns set in, and speed is how fast you can dodge. Out of all of these, within each weapon type, dodge distance and limit are the only ones that are affected, within a certain range, by either the mobility or the defenses stat. The rest are predetermined by the weapon type. As we've already established, dodges equals win. So you generally want to prioritize good dodges and melee weapons. More on that in the second section. Now, a quick pause on our regularly scheduled programming to talk about the crab technique. Crab technique is a technique where you move around the map by simply blocking and dodging to one side repeatedly, much like a crab. Except maybe not everywhere since we've learned about the diminishing returns, but it's still very useful in enemy-dense areas. Even if you aren't using the crab technique, blocking and dodging is something that you should come hand in hand. As I'm sure you're familiar by now, whenever you hear this sound, there's no reason not to block when you dodge, just to make sure to avoid the attack in case you're unsure where it came from. Having said that, if you're 100% aware of your surroundings, meaning you have eyes on the back of your head, know the map layout very well, etc., it's okay to drop the crab technique in favor of clearing enemies at a faster pace. If, for instance, you're surrounded by a horde, using push to get out of a tricky situation in order to group the enemies, which you can then mow down with your flamethrower or cleave away at with your knife, can significantly speed things up. Alternatively, dodging while charging your attack is good to clear single elites and specials at a faster rate. One more thing before we get to the juicy movement attacks. Here's a quick chart I made showing the different specials and how you can dodge them. Keep in mind, it's easier to dodge to the left of the mutant, to the opposite side of the big hand. Also, if you do decide you hate your team and trigger the demon host, find an area to play Ring Around the Rosie with him and hope your teammates finish him off. Anyways, on to the more specific movement tips. First, if you're playing Psyker, I have extremely good news for you, as you have access to some of the most broken weapons in the game. Let me indoctrinate you into the school of the toothpick. That's right, it's the dueling sword. Not only does it have insane dodge stats and decent damage, it also has one of the fastest moving attacks in the game. Essentially, you do a light attack into a slide while you hold sprint. That's it. The inputs are pretty lenient, but here I have a quicker demonstration of how it works with a keyboard overlay to show you exactly which buttons to press. As you can see, it's not only much faster than running, but also conserves a considerable amount of stamina. This basically means you can put insane distance between you and your enemies and basically do whatever you want as long as you're not suppressed. As a result, you can perform some insane clutches. If you're playing any of the other classes, besides Ogryn, sorry buddy, you can use the dagger for a similar effect. As you can see here, the only difference is you do a heavy attack as opposed to a light attack, which takes a little more time to charge up. With the Ogryn, you can do something vaguely similar using the cleaver weapon type, however, the intervals are way more spaced out and usually not very worth spamming. You may notice a pattern here. A lot of these weapons have lunge attacks that act as momentum boosts, so you can apply the same principle to others that I haven't mentioned on light or heavy attacks to different extents. Feel free to experiment if you like another weapon. Finally, we have ledge boost. Essentially, you approach the ledge and begin the vaulting animation, then hold A, S, or D while dodging and holding slide. This one is a lot more situational and dependent on terrain, however, it's not tied to any particular weapon and definitely can be useful in certain situations. I advise using this if you need to close gaps fast in order to suppress enemies, if you want to get over certain hazards like fire, or simply if you want to look cool. Bonus tip, on missions where you need to carry battery cells up to higher place, you can use a verticality to your advantage and skip a portion of the movement penalty by throwing them up to a higher platform. Do keep in mind, if you don't pick them up after a while though, they will respawn at their starting location. And there we have it. As always, let me know if I missed anything and I'll make sure to pin it in the comments. I plan on streaming on Twitch soon, so feel free to stop by and ask any questions you might have. Also, the Psyker Damnation guide is currently taking longer than anticipated due to the fact that Fat Shark have decided it's a good idea to release the half-finished game without a fully implemented crafting system. Fat Shark also have decided to nerf Psyker penances to the ground. However, if there's enough interest, I can still get a Psyker penance guide out to you guys. Otherwise, let me know if you want any other specific guides or content in general. See ya.
Hang on. To settle.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.